Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome to this. Welcome back for another live stream. It's Wednesday. Yes, we are live. Can you see me? Can you hear me okay, guys? Let me know in the chat down below. That'd be much appreciated. It's another week of Sky Bet League One. The games are coming quick and fast. A double header. We have one Saturday, we've got one Tuesday, and we've got one on Saturday again. And it's a very quick turnover. Got back from the football late last night, and I thought, do we do a midweek show? And we're going to see how tonight goes, and we're going to attempt to see if these are worth doing twice a week when there is some midweek football. There was lots of games. There was lots of action, lots of drama, and everything, all that jazz. Before we do start the show, I am on my own tonight. So again, if you could help us out throughout the show by leaving questions in the comment section below as well, while I'm doing it as well. Between every game, we'll try and get to as many as your guys' comments as we possibly can as well. Thank you so much for the loyal and brilliant support I've had on this channel this season as well. And if you are watching on your devices at home, you should be able to view this video or stream as you're watching it in 1080p. So if you go into your settings on your screen as well, that'll alter if you can do that as well. And if you're watching this as a video, there'll be timestamps down below as ever as well. Thank you to the 1700, the 850 or so that watch live, and the 800 to 850 that watch back as a video as well. It's massively appreciated. Shoe Army says, Jack, a brilliant point for Northampton at home to Lincoln City yesterday. Hi guys, what's your thoughts on Port Vale? The first 5 games have been pretty good results so far, but it's looking like some underdogs are having a good start as well. We will get on to Port Vale in a minute because I've got a good thing to say. Northampton will be later on in the show. So every game, that is the running order is down below. Every game will be getting about 2 to 2.5 minutes. There'll be no Lincoln 6 minutes today, believe it or not. We've got I don't think Jake would want to talk about Lincoln at this moment in time anyway. 3 teams dismantled, Wigan next. Absolutely so. White Army, perfect. INAP, seemed like Port Vale are doing okay so far. Good start for the gas, absolutely. Yes, Nappers, hello. Yusuf, good to see you. Off to Fortress Sheep Dig for the Cods on Saturday. No better time to go there to get our season up and running, says Tony. I do agree. So, in some sense, I'll say. Anyway, we're going to start off with Barnsley at home to Peterborough. Yes, a rematch of last season's final game of the season where Peterborough ran out 2-0 winners to secure a playoff spot, where Barnsley secured their spot in the Sky Bet League One playoffs a few games prior to that, so they didn't need to worry. And a game that had everything. It had Barnsley actually taking the lead in this one, going 1-0 up in the game. Max Waters getting his second assist in 2 games as well. And Cotter also getting a goal as well, adding to his 2 assists that he got against Port Vale as well. But Peterborough, again, have found some fighting spirit of late. Again, they've won both games so far up until this by 1-0 against Reading away, and also beaten Charlton Athletic at home. And they responded very well indeed. They won by 3-1. They've now scored 5, conceded just the 1, level in the table with Stevenage, who we will come to later on in the show. And Johnson Clark-Harris finally getting his 100th League One goal. He's now scored 58 of those in his last 93 appearances. That goes back the previous 2 full seasons in Sky Bet League One. Obviously, he did score 12 in the Championship, came down last season, scored 25, and now is up and running. Reportedly up for sale, Johnson Clark-Harris, however, again, getting that goal. And Peterborough can now back those performances up when you've got, again, Cipriano in midfield, who we were saying on Sunday hasn't scored many goals. So Porsche scored 3 in his previous 48. He's now scored 2 in 2 to make that 5 in 50 for that man. And again, it's same as usual for Posh. They've had a really tough start to the season. When you look at it, Reading, Charlton and Barnsley are tough games, and it just gets tougher as they have to go to Northampton on Saturday, a bit of a local derby. And then they've got to obviously play Portsmouth away very, very soon as well. So a tough few weeks coming up, but again, a great result for Peterborough. Barnsley, no winning 2 after that 7-0 demolishing of Port Vale. They both kind of responded differently. Port Vale have got 4 points, Barnsley just the 1. Again, Barnsley, am I worried? No, they'll bounce back. However, again, Styles rumoured to be off to Coventry. And again, Barnsley have some tough games coming up. They've got Oxford, Wigan and Cheltenham all coming up. Oxford at home, followed by Wigan and Cheltenham away. Wigan obviously start the season very bright as well. And yeah, pretty good game. 2 good sides. And these League One games just keep getting better and better as the season goes on. And we're only in match day 3. What a turnaround for Vale. Looking for what a solid, brilliant. It's and I'm glad they got 2 clean sheets as well, which we will come to. Has Manning Ball arrived? Well, they've got the 3rd most highest possession in League One, so it's starting, isn't it? Oxford going up, it's simple, it's easy, it's a fact. Are you still on your boat? I hope you're having a nice holiday. And Oxford, you go away, Oxford win 2 games, you'll come back, they'll lose, won't they? You just know that. Hey, Borough, says Jack, obviously a Northampton fan. Bolton Wanderers, what a great stop. We will come to Bolton. Bolton are, quite soon in the running order. If you could like the stream as well, guys, that'd be massively appreciated as well. It does help the channel grow, so please get liking that stream as well. Bolton will storm the league, says Jack. Vale are looking really good since our opening game debacle. Very solid at the back and some great pace up front. Yeah, exactly. Brilliant support. Port Vale are one of the most underrated fan base. I've always said Argyle with that in League One. I think now they've gone up. I think Port Vale kind of take their spot, if I'm honest with you. Do you think Cheltenham could go down? I do think Cheltenham will go down. I don't think could. I think they will go down. Next up, Blackpool against Port Vale. We've just been mentioning that. Now, I want to mention Blackpool first. Again, they've not conceded a goal this season, which is very impressive. They played 3 league games and they played a cup game away at Derby County. They won their opening game 2-0 against Burton with Shane Lavery scoring twice. They went to Exeter, got a point, and due now at home to Port Vale, as well as being in the 2nd round of the Carabao Cup and got a tie away at Molineux, away at Premier League Wolverhampton Wanderers. The one thing I do worry about the Seaside is their lack of goals, and I did say this in my Sky Bet League One predictions. A front 2 of Sonny Carey and Shane Lavery. Lavery, we know, can put the ball in the back of the net. Has only scored a dozen goals for the Seasiders in 70 games. Most of them being in the Championship, a league below. But a midfield 3 of Norburn, Alvin Morgan, and Kenny Dougal doesn't strike me as a midfield 3 that's going to get you goals. Although they have signed Oakley Bootle and Jensen Weir recently as well, which will add goals. They need to have more goals from their wingers, I think, as well. Leon's at fullback. CJ Hamilton, again, has promised big things, but never really delivered in a Blackpool shirt just yet. The back 3 does look solid. Husband, Ekpateta, Cassie, Grimshaw in goal. It's very solid. Grimshaw should never have been dropped, in my opinion, last season over Chris Maxwell. Chris Maxwell did get a move to the Championship as well. But Port Vale, a brilliant response. 2,000 Valiants in the stadium as well. And Connor Ripley as well. A great goalkeeper, proving a couple of doubters wrong after that opening day, conceding 7. 2 clean sheets and 2 a penalty save. They played Reading and Blackpool, 2 relegated clubs from the Championship last year, and taken 4 points in the process as well. The back 3 is looking strong. They've got, a real strong core in your Garrity's, your Chislett, your Massey, Ojo or Blaster. I think in midfield has been absolute revelation. And the way they play, they like setting up with kind of the wing backs, getting high as well. So, yeah, they only have 38% of the play, Port Vale. But again, I don't think that'll bother them too much. Only the 1 shot on target. They did have a goal disallowed for offside, which is 2 in 2, actually. The one on Saturday was never disallowed. Again, they've got a few tough games. Port Vale coming up now. Charlton away at the Valley, but although Charlton aren't in great form, losing the last 2 games, we'll come to them. And then, a game that was some interest. It would only be match day 5 in League One, which is Carlisle United at home, which could be a big game. Obviously, both League 2 playoff winners in the last 2 years away, and they've got to go to the Kassam, and I wouldn't want to be going there. anyway. But at the moment, Oxford seem to get their act in gear and seem to be back on track. But a good point for both. Blackpool 5 from 9, the only team in Sky Bet League One yet to concede a goal, which is promising for the Seasiders going forward. They have got some games coming up where you'd see that they need to start breaking down teams. Guy Medina is still training with the club, however, he's injured till later in the year. You'd think a striker is coming in. They've really boosted the defensive lineup. Pennington obviously out injured at the moment as well, and they've also they have got obviously Jake Beasley still at the football club, but they do need another striker. In my opinion, Leyton Orient, Lincoln and Wigan up next for the Seasiders. You should be looking, in my opinion, at minimum 5 points from those games. However, you might be getting more, you might be getting less. This is Sky Bet League One after all. We will come to your comments now. So again, keep them flooding, keep liking the channel as well. I mean, it is massively appreciated. Again, the social interaction is very important. Again, not being toxic, but I wouldn't say Pompey. Pompey game last night was striving. However, they got the job done. I didn't think they were at the best, but they got the job done. They were 1-4-0 the other day, and they weren't at the best. And how many promoted sides last year? Ipswich were phenomenal at the back end of the last season, but up until the last 15 games, I'd probably say Ipswich probably played well in a game 3 times out of 30. And then they seemed to just play well, and probably like last 15, 16, probably half of them, because they were just so far above the rest. I think Portsmouth are up there, but I don't think Portsmouth are so far in front of the rest just yet. My favourite Lincoln fan, Sue, how are we? Evening. We came away with a point, I can't complain. Northampton, not a bad side. Rico Hackett, what a player. Absolutely, what a goal as well. What did you think of Stevenage? Cambridge will be coming to that very soon as well. So stay around for that. They will start taking shape after about 10 games. Who do you think will come to there? We'll come to that question in a bit. So remind me later on in the show. Bristol Rovers are the dark horses this season. Absolutely. Joey Barton in charge there. I've got a couple of interesting things to say on Bristol Rovers, actually. And Charlie actually did back them for a playoff campaign as well. Victor Adebayo, hat-trick last night against Fleetwood. 3 touches, a total of 19 yards, 34 minutes. Red cards for Ian Everett and Dion Charles in Bolton's win over Fleetwood was a joke. Yeah, the referee lost control, but we'll come to that later on. You better not tell him you'll get sent off with the new rules. Did Danny Mayer play for us last night? No, he didn't. We had no Danny Mayer, no Brendan Wiredu, no Jaden Stockley. So it's quite worrying. How are you? I'm very good, thank you, mate. And again, we will keep coming to the my comments as well. So please keep liking, subscribing. That would be massively appreciated. And Bolton is where we're going to go next. A 3-1 win over Fleetwood Town. And I came away from the ground yesterday relatively happy after losing a game of football. I thought Fleetwood played okay. Now, in my opinion, Bolton are the best side in League One at this moment in time. They've got a settled 11. They've got a strong 11. You know, Baxter in goal. Never really been tested in these previous 2 games, but you can't really blame him for that when you've got Jones, Santos and Jack Iredale in the back 3 in front of you. You've got Cogley, you've got Williams at wing back, which is really, really strong as well. Thomason again signed a new deal, 4 years yesterday after being rumoured to go to Bristol City. I think that's the best move for him to stay at Bolton, because he's a local lad. He can stay around, where he's from and play football and be real part of the push this year, because he's going to get games. He won't start every week, because I don't think he's quite good enough to start every week, in my opinion, just yet. But he is very good. It's just the quality Bolton have got. Magoma came in yesterday, a bit of a change up in that midfield, and Kyle Dempsey in there as well. And Adebayo getting a hat-trick alongside Dion Charles getting sent off. It was a quick start for Bolton. That's what they do. They pass you to death. And again, they've got the third least long balls in the division, so that shows you the way they want to play. The back 3 have, one of the most passes per game in the league. They're looking at 70, 75 passes each per game. That just shows you the quality that they emphasise Bolton Wanderers, to get my words out. And they were brilliant. They got a ball in, and Adebayo tucks it home. It's a really good finish. He scored 14 Sky Bet League One goals last year. He's up to 4 for this year, which is really good to see. Hat-trick, and he isn't the main man at Bolton. Dion Charles is. Maybe they've got 2 main men now, and if you can go and get 30, well, I'm thinking now 40 goals, both of them getting 20 goals each, they're going to be a real force alongside the back line as well. And the second goal was another cross into the box. We make a mistake. However, Bolton did score 3. But I thought Fleetwood on the day probably could have scored 2, maybe 3. Bolton probably could have had another couple. They had one disallowed. They, forced a couple of good saves out of Jay Lynch. So on another day, that could have been 5-2, 5-3. But like Scott Brown said, it's easy to play football when you kind of, you're 3-0 down and you're chasing the game. And Bolton weren't quite at it after 3-0, which normally you take the foot off the gas a little bit. But Bolton were absolutely brilliant, taking nothing away. Fleetwood, it's been a tough start to the season, being very easy to play through. But Bolton, anyone who finishes above Bolton will win Sky Bet League One. It's as simple as that. Everything's in place for them. They've got a great ownership structure. They've got a great manager. They've got a great team, great stadium, and a real, real good team there. And there's not many players that aren't bad footballers. So, again, great result for the Wanderers. And next up, Wigan Athletic at the derby, and a chance for Wigan to go into positive points, as well as a chance for Bolton to go 4 wins out of 4 at the Tough Sheet Stadium. Just call it the Reebok. That's what it'll always be to me. Do you think anyone in League One will come in for Clark Harris? I think there will be a bid from a Championship club for Clark Harris. And I also think there'll be some bids for players with 1 year left on the contract. One of those does include Josh Earl as well. I'd be very surprised if there wasn't a bid for someone like him. I think we've not seen many bids, for big League One players. And I think we may see it very, very soon as well. No chance moving from Bolton. Absolutely not. I can't see. He's loved down there. And, it wasn't 18 months ago. He was refusing to play for Accrington. And, what he's done in that 18 months, he revitalised his career in the back end of the season that he came in. I think he scored 7 goals for you, didn't he? And again, last year he scored goals. Sometimes he is the most unselfish striker ever, and it can be very frustrating to watch. But again, he's a player that you want in your team. I was very surprised Ever didn't hook him, if I'm honest with you, before he got sent off. What do you think of Ryan Broom? Decent player enough, and not, he's been kind of swept under the carpet a little bit. Anyway, hello, buzzing as Bristol Rovers fan. Think we deserve the win, and realistically, where do you see us this season? We will be coming to Bristol Rovers very, very soon. We're on Cambridge now. The running order is down below as well. So keep liking, guys. Again, the more likes, the more people we get in. And also subscribe down below. We're very close now to 11,500 subscribers. We'll cover all these games or preview Saturday's games, and also have a Q&A at the end of this hour-long League One spectacular. And it was 2 teams next, Cambridge against Stevenage, 2 sides with 100%, win records, and both sides haven't conceded a goal. Cambridge beating Oxford and beating Fleetwood. Stevenage, again, getting wins away at Northampton Town, who they got promoted with out of League 2 last season as well. And winning against Shrewsbury at their own backyard on Saturday. And again, it was a good game. And obviously, Robertson Reed scoring for Borough, and it's a really, really good win. And Kachunga scoring his first goal for Cambridge. And again, Stevenage took the lead in this one. Cambridge fought back, and it wasn't 2 minutes later where Reed getting his goal. He's got 26 and 106 now for Stevenage. And again, it was 400 passes to 157 for Stevenage. A lot gets said about Steve Evans' style of play, but in my opinion, there's more than one way to get a result, and they managed to get it. And that's how they got out of League 2. They can win ugly, and that's what you need to do in League 1. And again, they've got 9 points, and for me, that is nearly 20% safe, 18% safe towards that 50-point mark as well, which is huge. And they've got some tough games coming up, but again, at this moment, they're flying and they look really good. I think Pierre Garani at the back is looking really, really good. Louis Thompson has settled in well. Ben Thompson has been phenomenal. I think Presley up front is a proper typical Stevenage Steve Evans centre forward, hard as nails, will run all day, will run into the channels, will work tirelessly for the cause. I think Burns at the back as well has been really good as well, and it's been a real good effortlessly start from them. And they bought players that know the level, and they paid the price for that, and that's why they won 3 out of 3. And through hard work, determination, and that was the first goal they conceded yesterday. And again, Steve Evans will be buzzing. He'll be thinking, right, on to the next one. And Steve Evans is one of those, if he's yours, you absolutely love him. If he's not, you absolutely hate him. For me, I think he's an absolute, a great manager at this level. He knows how to get results, and really respect him. So well done to them. Cambridge, there'll be better days at the office. Obviously, Yana had to come off injured, and it was an unchanged team And to that beat Fleetwood, obviously Digby and Thomas in that midfield too, behind Brophy, Lancaster, Yana, and Hadme as a front 4-4-2-3-1, if you like. And Bennett, Morrison, Andrew, and Stevens, obviously, who came in from Oxford. So again, unbeaten run ended for Cambridge, unbeaten run carries on for the Borough. How long will this go on for? And they are living in a dream world. That, only them, Peterborough, Bolton, at that top end, winning games of football, and Stevenage are living the dream right now. And it's really good to see these sides getting results. That's what I'll say. As well. Derby rejected 2 million for cashing from Brighton. Wow. Keep up the great work, mate. Thank you very much, Elliot. Appreciate that. Derby for Clark Harris rumoured. Apparently, Darren Moore was at Pride Park yesterday. Do you think Collins will leave the gas? No, I think he'll stay. Tough times for you lot. Yeah, tell me about it. Big shout for the Lionesses. Yeah, well done for England women who got to the final as well. Could teach the men a few things, believe me. Reading had a point deduction with 3 suspended, so that means 4 deducted in total. Bolton champions this year as well. It could be. Absolutely. Keep the comments coming as we go on now to Carlisle against Wigan. Yes, Carlisle got their 2nd point of the season, both coming at home, and both of their goals coming from a certain Owen Moxon, rumoured to be going to Blackpool this summer. However, a £250,000 rumoured figure was rejected. 64% of the play coming for Wigan, and Wigan on the day had chances. Wigan probably should have been 3 or 4-0 up before Carlisle get that goal. I'm looking at, Charlie Wycombe obviously scored his 3rd goal of the season after his 2 away at Derby. All his goals coming away from home this season. And it's a cheeky little dink finish over Thomas Holy in the Carlisle goal. A really composed finish, and a man that obviously scored over 30 goals for Sunderland in Sky Bet League One not too long ago. So it was a great ball as well. And, Lang and, Asgard in that team as well. Lang actually captained the Latics yesterday. And Smith in midfield has been an absolute phenomenon. Matt Manaman has been a really good coup as well, and showing he's not just in the side because he's a Sean Maloney mate and an ex-teammate, showing that he's still got some quality. Obviously scored, a vital goal against Northampton the other day that helped seal 3 points as well. And it's another point for Wigan. They're on -1 now, 7 points from the first 3. I think they'd have taken that after playing Derby, Northampton, and Carlisle. Would they have got the 3 points against Derby and 2 against Carlisle? We maybe thought it was a switch position, but a youngish team, but the players like Sean Clare, Asgard, Wyke, Matt Manaman, Smith, Lang are proving real vital options as well as Hughes at the back, who we go on about. Morrison did hit the post in the game as well from a header, unlucky on the day, but again, a good point for Carlisle, who responded well from the defeat at Oxford. Again, they need more goal scorers in the team. Moxon isn't going to keep scoring, I don't think. They kind of changed formation, went to a diamond yesterday, played Gibson slightly deeper in that area as well. Sean Maguire did start alongside Ryan Edmondson, but a good point for both, and Carlisle are still on the board and still ticking along nicely. Does Scott Brown need to change formation? He's needed to change formation for the last 13 months. Can't see it happening out of our Deaf World Cup. Our football is suited for a championship, whilst hoopball is getting found out very quickly. Absolutely. Who's that for, by the way? Hello, Alfie. Thank you for joining the channel. Yeah, started very well. We covered that on Sunday's show. Watford and Stoke are bidding for Dion Charles. Must be £4 million. Wow. Preston at home. QPR might be Norwich and Ipswich in the same week. Ipswich Town. A lot of Ipswich fans still here. I hope you're doing well as well. How about the Ipswich Nappers? They're doing phenomenal, aren't they? It's good to see. And am I surprised? No. Next up, Charlton, Bristol Rovers. What a game. Injury-struck Charlton. A lot of academy players in there, Maynard Brewer, Anderson, Asamoah as well in there. And I tell you what, Bristol Rovers, I think 2-1 flattered Charlton. Marquis obviously went one-on-one As Maynard Brewer, and a last-ditch defensive effort from obviously Ness at the back, a really good clearance, and Sinclair had efforts that obviously maybe should have put away, but Sinclair has now 2 goals in 2 for that man as well, and McCormack coming on 89 minutes, 9 minutes later scoring the winner at Maynard Brewer's near post. Should the goalkeeper do better in that situation? It's really hard to say, but Bristol Rovers keep up their unbeaten start, drawing 2, winning 1, and what a start they've had, considering they played Portsmouth away, Barnsley at home, Charlton away, really tough games, and Joey Bolton has managed to make sure they come away with something. And again, the possession was fairly equal as well, and 20 shots for Charlton compared to 14 for Bristol Rovers. Alfie May could have scored twice. Again, had a really good shot saved by Cox in goal, and again hit the post as well, and he's just not going in for him at this moment in time. As soon as he scores that first goal, the better. They're very direct, Charlton, at the minute, going into him, and Alfie May isn't the tallest and isn't the biggest. They're missing Miles Leaburn, in my opinion. As soon as he comes back, the better. As soon as they can get players back on the football pitch, the better. Dobson, Kamara getting up to speed as well, which is important. Cox in goal doing a decent job for the Gas. Again, the goalkeeper for Bristol Rovers has been frozen out, and Joey Barton likes to freeze out goalkeepers, and apparently ringing up on the day of the game saying he wants to go out on loan, wants to go and play football. They've never really got along, have they? They've never seen eye to eye. This isn't the first incident that has happened at the Gas. So I think it's going to be Cox going forward. And again, this Bristol Rovers side are doing just fine at this moment in time, and a great result for the Gas. Now, again, Cambridge Lincoln coming up in the league as well before they have Reading as well. And Charlton must start getting results sooner rather than later as well. They've got some really tough games coming up. They've got Oxford coming up. I know they've got Fleetwood coming up as well, and they've got Vale at home on Saturday, which we will discuss later on in the stream. And again, these games keep coming quick and fast. Keep the questions coming, guys, about League One. That'll be massively appreciated. He's playing Hayes at left wing back. Believe me, I don't. Keane Hayes has done really well for Fleetwood, in my opinion, in the last 6 months. I think he's been really creative, which is always good to see as well. So, at left wing back is ruined, and that's the issue we've got. We're at 28 likes, guys. So if you could like, the 65 of you in, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Again, referees are a disgrace. You can tell me about it. Derby against Oxford now. What a result for Oxford. Harris, 3 goals in 2 games, and Oxford 2 wins in 2 after a disappointing start. It was always going to take time. It was filled full of players that were there last year. Added with Beadle and added with Harris, and players of that ilk as well. And Brown's been there a while. Brannigan there as well, getting an assist as well. Obviously 9 goals, 2 assists last season, scored 14 the previous season, so we're waiting for him to get up and running. But Harris, 2 really good goals. The second one was a brilliant strike from outside the box, 20 yards out into the far corner above Joe Wildsmith in the Derby goal. Derby got booed off at the end. They did pull one back, obviously 2-1. But again, some really tough games coming up. You've got Fleetwood at home on Saturday, and you don't get anything out of that. They didn't get anything out of Fleetwood last season. They've got to go to Peterborough away, and then these games you've got to go to Bolton as well, which is very, very tough. And Paul Warren already under some pressure. You win yesterday and Paul Warren's labelled as a god. And I honestly believe about Derby County, in my opinion. I had Derby at top of my league, and I reckon that other people have. Do we honestly believe Derby County have got the best squad in the League One? Do we think Derby County have got, an unbelievable squad? It's a good squad. Is it the best? I don't think so. Why are we putting Derby top of the league? It's because it's Derby County and they've got Paul Ward. If Fleetwood had Derby squad, if Northampton had Fleetwood squad, if Bristol Rovers had Derby squad, would you be putting them as high as you're putting Derby? I don't think you are. I think the name of Derby County gets to people, and Paul Ward, what he's done before, gets to people, and it's affected me. And they've got to start picking up results. They've got some very good players: Nelson, Bradley, Cashin. These are good players. Don't get me wrong. Forsyth, Ward, Smith, Bird, Hurahan as a midfield 3, and Mendes, Lang, and Collins up front. It is, as you like, a very good team. Collins is a 20-goal season strike if he gets up and running. He's never done it at Derby for consistently. He scored on Saturday. Horan got an assist on Saturday. He's been good, but these are in parts. And Derby County, they need to be better, very much better. And Paul Warner's now had 49 games at Derby. He's won 21 of them, drawn 14, lost 14. He's not won in 28 of his 49 matches as Derby manager in League One. That has to change, and quickly. Obviously, some of those obviously will include the cup as well. Obviously, but yeah, it has to change and soon. But Oxford need credit because they were brilliant. To a man created chances. Again, 4 shots on target as well. Scored 2 perfectly good goals, and they look back to where they were a few years ago when Manning has got him playing a good style of football, got him playing higher up the pitch as well, got plays it with confidence as well, and they've got some tough games. They've got to go to Barnsley on Saturday, but again, why fear them? Why fear them? No, Bolton. Absolutely. Good to see Wednesday and Ipswich fans keeping your eye on League One for when you're back next season. I don't think Ipswich will, but maybe Wednesday at this rate. I think it'll be between Peterborough and Bolton, although I hate to say the word. Fair play, respect the honesty. Derby got something the same as you as Wednesday did. It's some teams cup final. It is, but Derby County aren't the only big club in League One. And next up, one of the games of the evening, really. Northampton 2, Lincoln 2. Lincoln were 2-0 up. 2 very good goals. Rico Hackett with an absolute worldie. 2-2 for that man. And O'Connor getting a goal as well. We know he can score goals. He scored 18, 120 games for Bradford from centre half. It was a nice header. Poor defending for both goals from Northampton, giving Lincoln that little bit too much respect, giving them too much time on the ball to get the ball forward. But Lincoln, again, after that, sat back a little bit, and Northampton found their way back into the game as well. Apaya getting his 13th goal in 69 games for Northampton. He did score 8 in 80 games for Dundee United as well. And they kept going, and it wasn't until the 98th minute of 6 added, they scored in the 8th added. And I know there'll be Lincoln fans fuming about that, but when they say 8 minutes is added on, 6 minutes is added on, that's a minimum. There was 3 subs being made. All of a sudden, then there's your time, really, pretty much. And you've got to go to that whistle. And Hoskins has scored 37 goals in his last, 88 EFL games. He scored 22 last season, which was vital for getting them out of the league as well. And they're up and running now. Northampton, they've had, Stevenage, where you think they'd go and get a little bit more than they did, but obviously it was a tight-fought game. Stevenage won 1-0. That's typical what Stevenage do. They went to Wigan. They went 1-0 up. They unfortunately lost the game. And again, today, they conceded 2 early goals, and that's cost them a little bit. So, again, they've got to be a little bit better defensively. They've obviously conceded in every game. Conceded 1, 2, and a 2. Lincoln look very, very good. They're scoring goals. Just need to shut it up a little bit at the back as well. So this, obviously, they've been involved in 10 games and we're only 3 games in so far. So again, that back three, obviously, is a youngish partnership as well, but have been playing together for a while as well. And they're a settled team, Lincoln, which is showing on the pitch. Oxford had a good balance yesterday. Sam Hoskins, what a player. Baller, 22 goals last year, wasn't it? So that'll be interesting. I think it'll be between Peterborough and Bolton. Derby got some issues. Wednesday will definitely be back for sure. Yep, I'm in agreement with you there. Next up, we're going to Shrewsbury against Burton. Shrewsbury, 100%. 2 wins out of 2 in Sky Bet League One, which is vital for them. I really like the team. Morosi in goal, Feeney, Dunkley, Anderson at the back as well, which are vital. And they've managed to really replace Luke Lee. I like Perry in midfield. I like Bayliss in midfield, who did score yesterday as well and had a good season last year as well. And Dunkley getting a goal as well. And Bowman and Adoa, as soon as that partnership gets going, I know Bowman did score on the opening day, scored the winner against Cheltenham. Obviously, both their wins coming at home against Burton and Cheltenham. 2 sides, Shrewsbury should be beating at home if they're going to push on from last season. Did very well last season and up until that last final few games. A bit like Exeter kind of fell to pieces. They were in a playoff charge up until the last 12 or so games of the season. And I think they lost 7 out of 8, didn't they? And played a lot of teams at the top, like your Charltons, your Ipswiches and those types of teams. And unfortunately came to a halt. And Burton, unfortunately for them, they've only scored one goal, and that came in the 97th minute, and it was Bennett with the goal, and they look out of option, they look really sloppy, and all of a sudden this Burton side that were hard to beat last year, all of a sudden have been dried out. They only had 1 point from the first 7 games under Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank this year, 0 out of 3 this year. However, you're playing Blackpool, Derby, and you go away at Shrewsbury. It was always going to be a difficult start, no matter what you think. So again, Burton need to improve as well. A lot of new players in there: Sweeney, Blackman, Bennett, Gordon, these types of players as well. They need to kind of fit in. Obviously, Cole Stockton is out at the moment as well. That's not gonna help as well. So again, good win for Shrewsbury. Really rate it, and there's gonna be a bit more going forward for them, I think, as well. Respect Exeter. Away from Exeter, who are you? Again, a few Exeter fans. Again, we'll come to Exeter very soon. But Wycombe now. Wycombe won the game 3-2. Wycombe have won a game under Matt Bloomfield. Only the 5th win for them in 18 games. However, on this season, it's the first win this season for them. They've had to, break it down tough. They had two bad defeats at home to Exeter and away at Lincoln. However, they still conceded 8 goals in 3 games, and that's not very Wycombe-like. You get them winning 2-0, 3-0, 1-0, 2-1. Again, it's a great result. Obviously, Dale Taylor getting his first goal for the football club, which is huge. Luke Leahy actually getting 2 assists. We've just mentioned how Shrewsbury have managed the transition. He's managed the other transition very well as well. And Lowe at the back scoring 2 goals on debut, which is always good as well. Bristol City, under 23 graduate. Tazza Foley, Grimmer all coming into their own. Vincent Young back in his natural position as well. Boys on the other side. Vogt as well, back in the team recently as well. And Leighton Orient still yet to pick up a point. However, they finally scored some goals. Citriano getting 2 goals on the day as well. Piggott up front, still without a goal. Low on confidence after bad spells with Ipswich and Portsmouth, after glowing references at AFC Wimbledon. Mizzuni and Moncur really need to start picking up as well. But again, that back four is looking very, very leaky. They've now conceded 7 in their last 2 games, or 8 so far this season. But however, Leighton Orient, we mentioned tough starts. They've had to go to some real tough games. They've had Wycombe and they've had, Portsmouth and Charlton. That is 3 tough games, as tough as you like. And it gets tougher as they got to go to the seaside. The Orient Express leaves to Blackpool this weekend. They got to play the Seasiders. Blackpool yet to concede, and Leighton Orient yet to pick up a point. Thoughts on Stephen Fletcher and Bassoon Lloyd to Fleetwood. Oh, God, I can't pronounce that. That's going to be good, isn't it? I'll come to that later on. Give me 10, 15 minutes for that. Put it that way. Next up, play up Pompey. We're going to Portsmouth. It didn't have 4-0 written all over it this week, but it did have 1-0 written all over it. Another clean sheet for Will Norris and his team. He got 10 clean sheets in 22 last time out. He's now got 12 clean sheets in 25. And if he can recreate that this year and go and keep 20 plus clean sheets this year, there's no reason why Portsmouth cannot do that. With a back line of Rafferty, Poole, and Sean Eze and old guy, these are all experienced players. Rafferty's played over 359 times now for Rochdale, Preston, and Portsmouth. 29 of those coming at the Blues. And Poole, again, impressive as ever as well, and absolutely Rolls Royce of a centre back, and can play up the field and looks comfortable on the ball. And Pack and Morell in that midfield as well, and really they're not going to get you many goals, but they're going to be very hard. And Robertson is coming on loan from Man City, looked very, very good on his full debut. Obviously came on at the weekend against Leighton Orient in that 4-0 ramping as well. Gavin White and Scully on either side as well. Bishop, the man who wears the magic hat, has scored 26 goals in a Portsmouth shirt. 22 of those coming in Sky Bet League One in 49 games. Again, he's an absolute phenomenon, and he's a full-on Portsmouth, centre forward. It was a Sparks ball in, obviously the former Exeter man, into Bishop is a clever turn and a great finish. No chance for Vincent Sarlo in the extra goal, and the Blues win 1-0. They're up to 7 points now again. There was huge pressure on the Blues and Messinio this year as well, but they managed to get the job done at home. And this Portsmouth team managed to find a way, and again the games keep coming for them. Portsmouth, however, sat back a little bit in that second half. Will Norris made a huge save in the 90 plus minutes as well to deny Exeter as well. And 69% of possession in that first half, 43 in the second half. Again, the expectation goal only 0.3 in that first half, and it upped a little bit in the second half to just under 0.5. Again, Portsmouth looking good, not looking at the best, but again, when a Portsmouth at the best, they always seem to find a way, and that's what Portsmouth Football Club are good at, and that's what they're going to have to do, because Plymouth did that many times last year. Ipswich did it. Wednesday seemed to find a way in the end. It took the up until 123 minutes against Barnsley at Wembley, but again, I think Portsmouth would take that after a long, hard, what we're looking at, 7 years now in League One. Reading now, finally, the last game of the day. Before we come to Saturday's fixtures and have a little glance at some statistics from Sky Bet League One, it was Reading 1, Cheltenham 0. Reading were without a win and without a goal, actually, up until they came into this. And they still actually not scored a goal because it was Ferry with an own goal. But Reading found a way. First clean sheet of the season, up to 3 points. Obviously, Andy Carroll wasn't in the 11 for this one. Vickers coming into the team. And Savage, again, excellent in midfield with Wing. That is going to be some lethal midfield too when it gets going as well. And it still doesn't look a strong Reading side. Obviously, they're in, not allowed to sign players, and you can bring a couple in, and you've got to have a certain amount of squad, so that's going to be difficult. Again, only the 4 shots on target to Cheltenham's 3. So Cheltenham did have a bit of a go ahead, and Keane actually had a shot on target. His first of the season, his shot on target, put it that way. They had 61% of the ball. Reading, again, first win. They've now got Stevenage and Exeter to come, whereas Cheltenham have a difficult trip to Portsmouth. Portsmouth obviously got 7 out of 9. Cheltenham got none. Cheltenham again have had Shrewsbury, Bolton, and Reading. So again, it's a tough start. This 4 games, it's a brutal start. You get off to a bad start, pressure builds, and you play 3 sides that you think are going to be up there at the end of the year. Obviously, more 2, Reading and Shrewsbury that are decent, well organised, well-oiled League One side, know what they're doing. And they've got to go to Northampton, which, again, game week 5, it could be crucial. Like 6 fields, you kind of look at that, and Northampton will be thinking 3 points. Cheltenham will be thinking 3 points, and probably the ideal result is going to be a point, isn't it, for both teams as well. And 700 miles away day for Exeter supporters on Saturday. Yes, absolutely. We're going to come to that in a minute. Good evening, all. Hello, Chris. Thank you for joining. I worry about us, Cheltenham, lacking creativity and just playing football. You're missing an Alfie May, aren't you? And Keane has now had to step up, and I think he's struggling with the adaptation as well. So again, in this part, we're going to come to Saturday's games as well. I'm going to have a little prediction for each game. We're going to start off with the early kickoff. Bolton host Wigan Athletic at the Tough Sheet Stadium. Wigan 7 points on the board compared to Bolton's 9. Wigan on -1 now. Again, it is going well for both sides at this moment in time. Bolton are the better side. I think Bolton will win this. I think it'll be tough. Derby games always are. I would say form doesn't matter, but they're on similar form. Obviously, Wigan did slip up yesterday. I'm going to go for Bolton 2, Wigan 1. Let us know what you think down below as well. Barnsley against Oxford. I fancy a really good game this. Probably be 0-0 now. I do think it'll be a 2-2 draw. I think both teams will score. I think it'll be end-to-end football. And I think you're going to see 2 sides that be in the top maybe top 8, top 10 at the end of the season as well. Blackpool, who are struggling to score goals right now against Leyton Orient, who are just struggling to do anything right now. I do think Blackpool will get over the line in this one with a 1-0 victory, a slender victory. Jensen Weir and Oakley Bootle coming into the side this weekend as well. I think that'll be crucial. A bit of squad depth for the Seasiders as well. We can win, says Tricky Tone. Wow, shock. Cambridge, Bristol Rovers. I think, again, Bristol Rovers may edge. I think, obviously, when you've won your first 2 games, you lose a game. It was a shock to the system. I really rate what Bristol Rovers are doing right now, although what's going on with James Belstraw, I'm not too keen on. I don't think Joey Barton's handled that too well. I obviously don't think he handled Alex Cairns very well, but, again, done a decent enough job at the gas as well, and masterminded a great result at the Vale yesterday. I think they'll win that one, but it's going to be very tight. 2-1 to the gas. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Carlisle Exeter, a long mammoth 700-mile round trip for Exeter on Saturday. However, these are the best away days in aren't they? The really long ones, and it's why you do it. I think we may see a draw in this one, another 1-1 draw. I think, Carlisle will be fancying the first home win. They've been strong at home. 2 draws against Fleetwood and Wigan so far. However, they'll be looking to get back on the winning trail. And Exeter as well, 4 points from the first 3 games. Only conceded that 1 goal to Colby Bishop and Portsmouth yesterday evening. Charlton, Port Vale have been on decent form. 2 clean sheets, 4 points against Reading and Blackpool. Charlton, or 5-6 players injured right now, some crucial players missing right now. At home, I do fancy him to get the job done, but only just. I'm going to go for 1-0 to the boys in red. However, I think Port Vale now under Andy Crosby can really kick on as well. And they have got Carlisle at home the week after as well, which is going to be a crucial game for them, I think, as well. Derby, Fleetwood, huge pressure on Paul Warne and Derby. Absolutely none on Fleetwood, although Fleetwood have lost the last 3 games in all competitions. Fleetwood go there with absolutely nothing to lose, but absolutely everything to gain. However, Fleetwood do have Shrewsbury after that, as well as trips to the Vale and also a home tie against neighbours Blackpool again. So Fleetwood have to start picking up points, so there will be pressure building on Scott Brown. However, his job is safe, I admit. And I think Fleetwood may bring a player in before Saturday. If not, I think there'll be 2 in the team for the start of the Shrewsbury game. I think Scott Brown has mentioned he wants 3 more, a centre-half, a centre midfielder and a striker. Derby currently still active in the window, still looking for another striker, I believe. I do think Derby will get the job done. I think it'll be tight, but I'm going to go for a 2-0 Derby victory. Northampton, Peterborough, local derby. Northampton, again, strong performance, strong reaction after the Lincoln performance as well. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Peterborough. Peterborough found a new way to win, which I really like as well. So, again, they're coming strong, aren't they? Peterborough, not losing games, which is always good to see. Not conceding many goals as well. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Peterborough. And I think it's going to be a very, very tight game between 2 sides that obviously don't really like each other very much, do they? Portsmouth against Cheltenham. This would be the ideal. I think this could be either a really nice 2-0, 3-0 win for Portsmouth, or it could be a game where Cheltenham go, sit back, sit in the shape, frustrate Portsmouth. Portsmouth can't find a way through, and we see why Portsmouth have been in League One for so many years and can't get out, and why Portsmouth have not succeeded in recent years, and it ends 0-0. It could be that, but I think it won't be. I think Portsmouth will win this one by 2-0. I think they'll get the job done at home, and Portsmouth continue the unbeaten run. And getting to 10 points would have been the first aim as well, and 4 games unbeaten run. They're already, you look at it, 14 unbeaten now, 6 wins, 8 draws, getting towards, obviously that's in the back end of last season, getting towards my win 1, draw 1, win 1, draw 1. Obviously you want to win every game you play. You're playing Cheltenham at home, no disrespect to the Robins, but Portsmouth should be winning that game of football with being at Fratton Park, the Portsmouth Football Club. Reading, Stevenage. Stevenage, 9 out of 9, are playing Reading, who have just won their first game in League One. Imagine saying that 10 years ago. I do think Stevenage will go there and get a point. I think it'll be 0-0. I think Reading lack goals. I think Stevenage are very tight defensively and will shut them out. Maybe could nick something on the break, but I think it'll be a decent point. And that'll be, again, 10 points from 4 would be, again, a good start as well. After playing 3 away games as well, which is crucial. So keep leaving your comments in below. We will come to them in a couple of minutes as well. Before we come into the live Q&A for the last bit, I tell you what, for someone who can't really plan a show, we've done this well. We're at 50 minutes by the time we come to the 10-minute Q&A part. No, Jake, no problem. Only joking, Jake. See you Sunday, mate. See you Sunday. Shrewsbury, Lincoln. Talking to Jake now, obviously, wasn't a happy bunny yesterday, was he? Shrewsbury, this is the type of game that I think it'll be 1-0 either way. Or it'll be, it's not a classic, is it? It's a proper League One game between 2 clubs that, aren't small, aren't absolutely massive, but have got 2 sets of good supporters as well that, have a real good core to them. Lincoln 4 points, Shrewsbury 6 points. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this one. I think both sides are quite similar. I think Lincoln are going to finish above Shrewsbury. I think with it being at Shrewsbury, I think Shrewsbury will take that 7 points from the first 4 after a difficult start, but playing 3 home games. That's what you've got to remember in this, that normally it's home away for the first few months of the season. To have 3 out of your first 4 away games for some teams Obviously, the teams that are away have obviously all played 3 away games. And Lincoln, I think, would take 5 points from their first 4 games, considering, you know, I think they're going to be strong at home this year, Lincoln. I really do. I think they'll turn those draws into wins. And Wycombe Burton, I'm going to go for 2-0 Wycombe. I think if they can really back this up, this is an important week for Wycombe. I think if they can back it up, then I think we'll be strong on Wycombe. I don't think they might finish as high as we may feel they will. You know, obviously first full season without Matt Bloomfield. Burton struggling for goals, struggling all over. I think this is an opportunity for Wycombe, but also an opportunity for Burton to go and end their streak, because if you get at Wycombe, they've shown that they're not very great at the back right now. So that'll be interesting. Wigan win. Don't rate Bristol. Fancy Vale to get something at Charlton. Chisler looks live. A very good player. Looked very good against us. Hi, I'm a Bolton fan. Hello, Joshua. How are you, mate? I think we deserve a bit of luck. Play good stuff. 2-1 win. I tell you what, I'd love it if we beat them. Derby never scored against the Cods. Paul Warren's record against the Cods isn't very good. I know we've beaten them 4-2, 1-0, 2-0. 2-0, draw 0-0. I think we've run against him maybe 4 out of 7, something like that. Maybe Tony can let me know. Shrewsbury and Magic. Shrewsbury and Massive. Love that again. So before we get into the Q&A, guys, again, please, you know, flood those comments now. Those that live chat full of League One questions. The next 10 minutes are yours, where we discuss all things League One, and we can get your guys' opinion as well. That'd be massively appreciated as well. And if you could subscribe to the channel, we are currently now 21 away from 11,500 subscribers. So please, that'd be massively appreciated. We've gone 80 subscribers since the vlog went up last night as well. So we're now just 21 subscribers away from that magic number. So if you haven't already, you've got any family or friends, get them to subscribe, get them to join the journey as well. That'd be massively appreciated, as well as liking today's stream as well. That'd be much appreciated. We're at 43 likes. Let's try and see if we can get to 50 likes as well. And thank you guys for sticking with me tonight. Obviously, I've been on my own, so I hope you've enjoyed. Obviously, Jake will hopefully be back all well and good on Sunday evening as we discuss more League One, after obviously the games that we're discussing right now that we're predicting. Obviously, some top goal scorers in League One. Victor Adebayo on 4, Wyke 3, Cole 3, Mark Harris 3, Mark Harris 2 and 2. Devante Cole scored a hat-trick on the opening day. Charlie Wyke 3 goals, obviously in his first 3 goals, scored 2 on the opening day. But Carlisle, and obviously scored last night with a lovely finish over Thomas Hole and Victor Adebayo. 4 in his last 2, 1 at Cheltenham and 3 against the Cod Army last night. Some other key players that I'd like to mention. With Moxon 2 goals in 2 games, didn't play due to illness. Oxford, Cole Pilgiani, only at 31 years of age, a real experienced leader and goal scorer, got an assist last night as well. And, a real, commanding centre-half and, hard as nails, proper Stevenage centre-back as well. And the reason why Stevenage are so, hard to beat and break down. Jack Iredale was brilliant last night. Santos is a man possessed. How is he a League One footballer? His cheat code. Tom Pearce, really like as well. At fullback, I think he's done well. Hughes as well at Wigan as well. Scott Sinclair, another one, creating a lot of chances. 4 shots on target per game. Mason Clark, 2.8. Victor Adebayo, obviously 2 again. Obviously had 3 last night. Bolton, way ahead of everyone in terms of possession, 65% of play. Fleetwood not far behind on 58. Oxford 57, Reading 56. So very interesting to see, you're looking at that. Bolton, top of the league, most time on the ball. Ipswich, again, last year. Team who normally have most of the ball, normally does well in Sky Bet League One, and they know what to do with it. The top 6 right now are Bolton, Peterborough and Borough, 3 teams with perfect starts as well. Portsmouth in 4th, 7 out of 9. Cambridge, and then just behind them are Oxford and Shrewsbury. They're the top 7, really, but Shrewsbury and Oxford level on everything as well. There's obviously 5 winless teams in Sky Bet League One: Burton, Orient, Cheltenham, Carlisle, Fleetwood. So that's very interesting. And Blackpool are the best defensive club in League One, as we can see by the stats. 0 conceded. Stevenage, Portsmouth, Borough, Exeter, and Bolton just conceded the 1 goal as well. Credit to Wigan as well. They are bottom of the table. However, they'd be where Portsmouth are right now. So in that top 4 area. So just shows you how well Wigan are doing with a youngish team with some experienced players in there as well. Andrew Chislett is my silent assassin this season. Baller. Agree with that. Very, very underrated. Key predictions for the way you do, Nappers. Lose 1 out of 10 guarantees for the Vale. Absolutely. You know something? Vale play a good way. I watched them last week and I was quite amazed. And the fan base at Vale for a cup game, I know there's only a couple of thousand there, 2,500 there. Loud, very loud. And I saw videos of them last night at Blackpool. Very, very good. Bolton are winning the league. Real intention when we play Peterborough at home, Barnsley and Derby. Very, very tough games. Going to be a tough few weeks for the Blues. League One top goal scorer. I said Dion Charles the other day, and I'm going to stick with that. I think if he gets on a good run, I think he really can score goals at this level. If I was going to go for an assist maker as well to add into that, I'd be thinking. Who would I be thinking? There's lots of players that could get that. I think Mason, Clark, and Poku, if they can obviously, and Clark Harris stays, they could be up there for most assists as well. So could be interesting. Good call, Ben. Ward only won 1-6 against Fleetwood. Yeah, there you are. That was they won 3-2, I think, didn't they? The season they went up and they beat Shrewsbury in the playoffs. Keep an eye out for the Gas this season. Absolutely, the Gas are doing really well. Keep the questions coming, guys. 5 minutes Q&A. Any questions, let me know as well. And my post friend, I think we've got the job done. 2-0. Emac with and Poku with the goals. Poku's some player. Really, really rate him. Would you change any of your League One opinion? Oh, yes, I would. And I would. I'd put Bristol Rovers higher. I'd put Reading lower. I'd put Wigan higher. I'd put Wycombe lower. I'd put Port Vale higher. Stevenage higher. I'd put Fleetwood lower. And I'd probably put... who am I going for? Cheltenham a bit lower as well, if that's even believing possible. Maybe Cambridge a bit higher as well. Obviously, they're bottom of the league. Obviously, I'd have to look at it. And Moutinho's options in every position and quality off the bench is subs have affected. Yeah, agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Obviously, Sparks as well. That's an example, and Yengi as well. His goals obviously in the league and the cup in the early part of the season. Obviously, the point of Bristol Rovers is huge now because it kept the unbeaten run going from last season. It got you off. You'd lost that game. Wow. I don't think you're going to win 4-0 at Leyton Orient. Believe me. And the way you equalised, it kind of felt like a win. And it kind of, if you'd got 6 out of 9, it kind of would feel a bit like, oh, we've lost. Now you kind of think, well, we're unbeaten. And although you've drawn 1. So, interesting. I think you've got to win Saturday, 10 out of 12. Although you played the 3 home games. Important. Question for the last 10 minutes, Q. Did you like the red flare I let the garden after Fleetwood lost in the cup game at Port Vale? Very good, mate. Very interesting. I was a bit surprised about what you're on about, but it took me a while to get it. But yeah, fair play. Bit better than what I've got in previous games. Put it that way. Pompey got lucky last night. Good sides do, and you get that look when you're at the top. Bolton at times last night rode the look a little bit. Back to making a sublime double save. Don't know how we kept it out, but it's a bit of luck you get. It's not. I don't mean it as they've been lucky. I mean it's a little bit of luck you get when you're at the top of the table. You get that little bit of fine art to go alongside your quality as well. Good pace to the stream tonight. Very enjoyable. Well done, young man. Thank you very much, Tony. Appreciate that. It does mean a lot. All the support does mean a lot. So if you could hit that like button, hit subscribe as well, that'd be massively appreciated as well. We are so close now to 11,500 subscribers, and it'd be absolutely brilliant to hit it the next day or so as well. We're really pushing this year for 15,000 subscribers. So there will be a stream, all being well, after every Sky Bet League One game. So obviously, I'll be honest with you, it was a bit harder tonight, obviously, because you get back late, work, commitments, and I literally should have got home from work, 2 hours prep, bang, into a stream. So I hope you're enjoying these streams. And if you want to come and follow me over on Twitter at FDFC Nappers as well. And I do these streams as well as the League One podcast as well with Jake, Jack, and Tom. A good Sunday evening. Well, at the moment, Fleetwood are losing. It's not very enjoyable, but yeah. Miss League One for the banter, Ben. Good luck for the season. Phil Dizzy at the moment, it's top of the championship. I don't see why you can't go and get them playoffs this year. You've got a settled team, not many changes. You brought players back to the football club that did well before. McKenna's a good manager, great owners, sold out. You sold out your season tickets. Really good. Good to see it. You're doing well, and I'll be cheering you on from the comfort of League One. And also, I've already had this question answered. Yes, League One content will continue if Fleetwood get relegated this year. I've had this question for the last 2 years. It will continue. Yesterday was the best I've seen Oxford play in ages. We set the bar with performance now, and absolutely, you've set the bar. You know what you can do. Are you going to play like that every week? I don't think so. But it's a marker, and it'd be good now if you can go and back that up. A tough game on Saturday. I think I'd probably call that game of the weekend, in my opinion, because that is two really good sides. We're the only team in League One not to score. I think that scares me. Wow. Yeah. It is worrying. Put it that way. You know, it's not great when you're not scoring goals, is it? And in League One, you've got to score a lot of goals. But believe me, because you concede a lot of goals when you're at the bottom of the table. And when you're conceding 2 a game, 3 a game, it's hard to win a game 1-0. So, you know, Cheltenham have quality. Don't get me wrong. I really do rate some of their areas. Southwood is a good goalkeeper. I'm very surprised he came back. So that's quality. That's testament to you. Exeter are a good side. I've been saying this. I got criticised by Blackpool fans for saying the long you draw there. I actually thought Exeter would win. But I kind of thought, well, Blackpool don't concede. So I went for a draw. And I'm thinking, Exeter are a good side. I know they've got an agreement apparently in place. If Jay Stansfield doesn't go to the Championship, he'll go back on loan to them, apparently. So someone maybe confirm that, but they can get Stansfield back into the football club. I think he got 18 goal contributions last year, which is very good. Thanks very much. Wigan Poole is a beast of a player. He's really good as well. He's superb. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate that. Best goal of the season so far. Wow. I really like Wyke's yesterday for the fact of the style of the finish. I liked Rico Hackett's yesterday. Moxon's on the opening day. I was there, and wow, what a finish! Kitchen on the opening day against Port Vale was a really good strike. Where else are we going? It's hard to think because obviously 3 games merges in together. Moxon's was very, very good. Rico Hackett last night was about Kitchen on the opening day as well. That was a really good goal for a centre half. But also a goal like Devante Coles-Hatchie that's bobbled over the line. And every goal counts for the same. So yeah, great football knowledge. Napper, big fan of your vlogs. Bolton support, respect. Thank you very much, David. Appreciate that as always. I worry we could be Forest Green of last season. We're 3 games in. Do not worry. But again, that is where we end tonight's show. Thank you very much for watching. Again, my voice is gone. League One is back. 3 games up and running. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be 10% away through Sky Bet League One already after, 4 match weeks in Sky Bet League One. And again, the League One content does keep coming. We'll have a vlog on Saturday away at Derby where Fleetwood will hopefully pull off a masterclass instead of another defeat. But again, ready for you regardless. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe down below. So close to 11,500 subscribers. Like the stream. That helps more than you will know. Also, hit notifications. So when I go live, when I upload a video, you'll get notified. And I've recently a statistic, 45% of my viewers at the moment are not subscribed. So if you are not subscribed, go on. If you don't have an account, make a Google account. It'll take 2 minutes. Subscribe. That'll help me out the world as well. So again, thanks very much for watching. And the League One keeps coming. We'll be back here on Sunday night from 8 o'clock for more League One action as we discuss 12 more mouth-watering ties as League One is back in business. The best league in, let's be honest, in England. We love it. The highs, the lows, the clubs like Fleetwood and Burton and, are competing with Portsmouths and Boltons and Derbys. It's just brilliant. Thanks for watching. Big over and out. Be putting some of your comments on the screen as we leave as well. And again, without you, it's not a channel. Again, appreciate you. Big over and out. Up the Sky Bet League One and up the cards. And again, like, subscribe. See you on Sunday night for more League One action.